Alright, American Horror Stories, Season 3, Episode 1. Okay, this episode was pretty decent. The past two seasons of American Horror Stories weren't that good in my opinion. So this episode was pretty decent, and I went in kind of like expecting it to be like very bad and mediocre like the past seasons of American Horror Stories have been. But this one was really good. Well, it was decent, let me say that. Alright, so basically just like a very brief synopsis before I give my opinions on everything. Basically, this girl who she's being raised by like a single parent, her dad, teenage girl, forgot her name, I think it was, Shelby. She's like getting picked on at school and stuff and the whole 9 yards. Basically, one night when she's on her laptop, she's following this drag queen, watching this drag queen show online, and then one of the fans of the drag queen that she watches sends her a message. Something that I thought was interesting about this scene is that the person that sent her a message, or Bestie ends up being her name, she said, "Do you want a VC?" which means I thought meant voice chat, but apparently it means video chat. So she agrees to video chat with this person who she doesn't know who it is. And as soon as the webcam comes on for that person who's Bestie, she's like disformed or something, like disfigured. Most people would have like hung up, like ended the video chat, hung up, like, closed their laptop, whatever. But Shelby stays on and continues to talk to this person. Also, this Bestie person doesn't look like a teenager at all. She looks like she's maybe 40 something. She could be 20. I don't know. It's hard to tell. So the fact that Shelby, is still staying on talking to this person that's way older than she is, that's also kind of suspicious or whatever. But teenagers, they do things that don't make any sense. So, alright, so she starts talking to this Bestie person, and this woman named Bestie basically tells her like really quickly that she wants to be her best friend. That she wants her and Shelby to be best friends, even though she hardly knows her. And Shelby agrees to it. And I guess they just start talking and get to know each other over the past few days, over the next few days. And she starts convincing Shelby to do like really bad things, like really mean things to her dad, like break his favorite coffee mug and stuff. And she's basically saying that this will make her more brave and it will make her feel good to like hurt people and stuff, which is really weird. And Shelby starts going along with it, which is gross. It's just like, why are you agreeing to do this stuff? But of course, teenagers, they do things that are not so bright, and she's listening to this person who obviously is not a good person. This Bestie person, like, she's secretly evil. And I could tell that Bestie not only tries to ruin the lives of everyone, but even people who she's considering to be friends. But I can tell this Bestie person is like using Shelby for whatever. And she's trying to get Shelby in trouble somehow and to ruin her life. It gets really disturbing when Shelby goes to school dressed as a stillborn child. I'm not sure if that's the word. I'm not sure if stillborn is the word, but basically her music teacher, he lost his baby died when she was born. And basically Shelby comes to school with a cord wrapped around her neck, trying to pretend to be that baby. And it's so disgusting, and it's just so brutal. And it's just like, wow, the writers really went there with this, and they didn't need to go there, but they really went there. And it's like, okay, that's, most people in their right mind wouldn't do something like that. But of course, Shelby is just being extremely stupid. Soon after that, she gets picked up from school. Her dad's really upset with her and very angry, and rightfully so. It's like, what is she thinking? Of course, Shelby doesn't want to listen to anything that her dad has to say. She only wants to listen to what the freak has to say, Bestie. And yes, I am going to call her a freak because of her actions, not necessarily because of the way she looks, because of her disgusting actions. Okay, so Bestie convinces her to then smash her own hand with a hammer. I think it was her whole arm. When this scene came on where she had the hammer and she was about to hurt herself, I literally muted my laptop and I looked away because I don't like to watch people hurt themselves. Like I can't watch that. Like that's just gross. And then broken bones, like that really pisses me off. I don't know if I'm really squeamish when it comes to stuff like that, but like, yeah, I don't like blood. I don't like, people getting hurt. And I know it's a horror show and that type of thing happens, but when I watch things of the horror genre, I watch mostly for the storyline. So when this scene came on of Shelby harming herself with his hammer, yeah, I had to mute it and then I looked away. So basically, after that scene, I unmuted it and Shelby went to the hospital, and she then decides maybe it's not a good idea to be friends with this bestie person who's convincing her to do all these bad things, including hurting her own self, And she finally comes to the conclusion that she should stop talking to her. And she does. And of course, this psycho named Bestie is, still sending her text messages, telling her that she needs to not ghost her or else she'll regret it. And I knew before this, like at the beginning of the episode, towards the beginning of the episode, when she met this bestie person, that this was not going to end well. This bestie, that the best person was a psycho. So then one of her Shelby's classmates named River decides to befriend her. And he tells her that he knows that she poisoned the students the night the Macbeth play or whatever. And River basically says that he can relate to her and says that he has a physical deformity. He was born with his heart outside of his body. And I knew, like, as soon as River met up with her in the theater, that he somehow had something to do with his bestie person, that he was somehow behind it. Now, I started to think that maybe he didn't have anything to do with Bestie whenever they started dating and stuff and they seemed to be really into each other. I was thinking, okay, so maybe he doesn't have anything to do with this bestie person. Maybe he really does like Shelby. But I was wrong about that. So, spoiler warning. I should have gave a spoiler warning at the beginning of this episode, the beginning of this review, but I'll put it like in the title or something. So they go to this very, very creepy house. And I could tell that Bestie is somewhere in there, or she used to be there or something, because there's a ring light. There's like all sorts of things that kind of give clues as to the fact that it's her house. And I'm thinking, Shelby better get out of there really quick. And I'm thinking, why would River bring her here? Of course, because River has something to do with Bestie. And I was expecting Bestie to like jump out of nowhere and like attack Shelby and like there to be this big jump scare. That didn't really happen. Instead, Bestie comes down the stairs and she's like wearing this red bathing suit. It's very weird. Anyhow, and of course, as soon as Shelby sees Bestie, she starts screaming and freaking out. And as soon as she turns to run, River stabs her in the chest with a knife and she dies. And apparently, well, what we kind of find out at the end of the episode was that River was dating Bestie, and that is so weird. Like, you decide to leave Shelby and get with somebody like that, somebody like Bestie who is just enjoys hurting people and she's cuckoo, you know what I mean? Like, really? Yeah, and it looks like Bestie is not a teenager. It looks like she is way older than them. So it's like, wow, he'd rather be dating a grown woman who is crazy. So yeah. This episode had a lot of scary elements to it, which it's what American Horror Story was lacking for a long time. American Horror Story had been lacking that scary aspect. It's done a good job of being gross over the past few years with the camp season, with the Alien season, the season 10, and with the New York season that it had in the season 11. Even with the birthing season, it's done. I mean, what was it called? Delicate? Yeah, even with season 12, it's done a really good job of being gross, which I'm not really into gross stuff. But it really is not. It hadn't been scary in a long time like it was with Coven and Asylum. This episode, in my opinion, was pretty scary. Like, it was really pretty creepy, pretty eerie. It's very relatable because there are people like Bestie in real life who actually prey on people through the internet, and it's pretty disgusting. But anyway, I give this episode a 3 out of 5 stars. I thought that it was pretty good, pretty decent. I was expecting it to be very bad, but it wasn't. It was pretty decent. That's it for my review of American Horror Stories Season 3, Episode 1. If you guys like this video and want to see more content, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.